Charlotte. Oh, yeah, that's happening. Browns-Panthers right off the bat. You know, the Stevenson say it's going to be great. Nobody knows who those people are. Nick, it is going to be great. Will the Browns ultimately regret letting Baker go, though, do you think?
Oh, I think the Browns organization is going to regret every single thing they've done this offseason, because it could end up being one of the most disastrous offseasons in major team sports history. Let's just go through it quickly. They trade 3 first-round picks for Deshaun Watson. That's the most first-round picks given up in a trade since the Herschel Walker trade, which we still refer to because it was such a heist. They then give Deshaun Watson $230 million fully guaranteed. That is $80 million guaranteed more than the second most guaranteed money ever paid out. And they structure it so if he's suspended in year 1, it costs him almost no money. So that was very nice of them. And then with Baker Mayfield, Coach, you guys know on this show I'm a fan of relationship analogies, so I'm going to throw one out there. The Browns were like a guy who was not the most eligible bachelor. They were the least eligible bachelor, if such a thing existed. And they met a fiery, kind of combative, but it's fun, amazing woman. And the woman cleaned them up, fixed their credit, introduced them to amazing new people, took them to the coolest parties, and after a few years, they forgot who they were. And they were like, oh, I can do better than her. I could hang out with with the people she hangs out with. So they left her. And now they're looking around, they're like, oh boy, I think I've made a grievous error here. Well, it's a tale as old as time. You forget who you were. The Browns, you won 1 game in the 2 years before Baker walked through that door. But Deshaun Watson bats his eyes at you and you say, okay, get out of here. And so I think they are going to regret everything they've done over the last 6 months. I think it is franchise malpractice what they've done. And only getting a 5th-round pick for Baker Mayfield is just the final flurry of it.
Nick, there is and I'm struggling to say this, there's a lot that I agree with you on this point. And you know, being back for the first time in a while, maybe I'm losing my fastball when it comes to your takes. But yeah, I absolutely think that this has the potential to just be devastating for the organization. And I get it. I get why they did it. To have the potential that Deshaun Watson holds, and they're close as a team, they're close as an organization, and a franchise quarterback like Deshaun Watson could put him over the edge and could put him over the edge for years to come. But there's so many ifs, and there's a struggle with the Cleveland fan base as to how to handle Deshaun Watson in general. And even though there's no criminal component to this, and most of the civil stuff has been settled, that people are trying to get their head around this, and a lot of people really liked Baker and liked what he did for the team. So there's that element as well. But with guaranteed money that can't be offset if he's suspended, with the amount of draft picks that they gave up for as little as they got back for Baker, it's going to be one that, especially if they struggle all throughout the course of the season and lose the first game of the season to Baker, it'll be a 5-alarm fire in Cleveland.
All right, Nick, with all due respect to your relationship analogy, you went too far. All right, the coolest parties, they had one winning season with Baker Mayfield.
Divisional round.
One season where he won more
Chance
than
to
7
win.
games.
It's like Spago.
Yeah,
what's better than that?
Then the next
could have
year,
beat Mahomes.
Here's what happened. I'm going to tell you about the coolest party. Here's what happened. The really cool kid, the one that everybody liked, that everybody wanted to be like, yeah, some of his friends started whispering, yo, he really don't like this dude. He really don't think much of that guy, that girl, or whatever your analogy was. And nobody came to his defense. No, her defense, right? So that's what happened. You're over. Yeah, we're confused now. I'm talking about OBJ and
I don't even know
OBS.
this guy.
Odell Beckham Sr.'s video. All right, they turned on him. And did any of the Browns come to Baker's defense? Any of them? And so they really didn't think much of him anyway. Now, look, Coach is right. I mean, it's a risk. And you're right, Nick. Like, to give Watson all that money guaranteed, yeah, it's high risk. But the question was, will they ultimately, in the long run, regret getting rid of Baker Mayfield? And I say no. Because let's say Watson's out for this year. It's going to be rough. But if he comes back next year, hopefully he will have done some stuff to rehabilitate his image. I do think the fan base in Cleveland, a lot of them already want to pull for him. I've talked to people out there making excuses and stuff for him, which I don't even agree with. But after a year out, they'll feel like he's paid his dues. This guy has, he got punished. He was wrong, but he got punished, and we'll give him a second chance. And he's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. He'll only be 28 in a league now where quarterbacks can play till they're 38, if not longer. And so if you get him back, ultimately I think things are going the right direction. Where I think Wiles they could regret getting rid of Baker is this year. And I thought all along they should have went to Baker with an olive branch of, hey, we'll even give you a little more money this year to come back. It's better for you because you can lead us to the playoffs. It rehabilitates your reputation around the league. And when you become a free agent, more suitors will go after you. So I thought they should have done that. Maybe I'm living in the land of make-believe, but I think they'll regret not doing that this year, but not ultimately, because I think the future could be bright with Watson.
All right, so I want to talk about the other three quarterbacks in the division. Because I think there's a point, Nick, that using your rational, I know you're a Baker fan, but using the rational side of your brain, that if you were the Browns organization, you would look around and say, you know what? We don't have anything that our other teams, our rivals have. Lamar Jackson's an MVP. Is Baker going to be an MVP? No. I think we can confidently say that. He was a number one pick, just like Joe Burrow. And in year two, we just saw Joe Burrow go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And then the Steelers had a great quarterback, Super Bowl winning quarterback they were able to keep and believed in for the long haul. And I think they didn't think they had that either. Now, I'll put the Deshaun Watson thing aside. I don't think that was a good decision to bring him in. But letting Baker go is the right decision. They know he's not the guy. You're acting like one playoff. They knew he was never going to be Lamar. They knew he wasn't going to be Joe Burrow. They knew he wasn't going to be Big Ben. So they had to make a move.
They could have had a long-term, homegrown guy like the Steelers had in Big Ben. I'm not saying he was going to be Big Ben. Big Ben's a future Hall of Famer, one of the best quarterbacks of his era. They torched that. But as far as this idea, I'm not a quarterback wins guy. But at least two of the three people on the screen are, and maybe the three middle people as well. Jenna's smart. She's also not a quarterback wins guy. Deshaun Watson's last year as a starting quarterback, the Texans won 4 games. And as far as the heights they got to, Deshaun Watson's pinnacle in the NFL was losing to the Chiefs in round 2. Baker Mayfield's pinnacle in the NFL was losing to the Chiefs